Hey everyone, welcome. You know that feeling when you're just lost in a sea of fitness advice, wondering what actually works for burning calories and, losing fat? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise and look at the real science.
So, here's the plan. We're going to tackle 3 of the biggest fitness myths out there. We'll start with that so-called afterburn magic. Then, we'll totally rethink the simple calorie equation. And finally, we're going to settle the score in the great exercise showdown. And don't worry, we'll wrap it all up by building your smartest, science-backed plan.
All right, let's just dive right into this first one, the afterburn effect. You've probably heard of it, right? It's this idea that promises you'll keep burning calories long after your workout is over. But how much magic is really there?
Yeah, this is that awesome promise of high-intensity workouts. The idea is that your metabolism just stays fired up for hours, melting fat while you're just resting. It's a really powerful idea, and honestly, it's what gets a lot of us pushing super hard in the gym.
Okay, so there's a sciencey name for this, of course. It's called EPOC, which stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. All that really means is it's the measurable boost in your oxygen intake, and because of that, your metabolism, as your body works to recover and just get back to normal.
So what's the real story here? What does the research actually say? Well, studies, like those from the American Council on Exercise, found that this afterburn usually only adds about, get this, 6 to 15% to the total calories you burned during the workout.
And this chart, it just lays it all out perfectly. Let's put it in real terms. Say you burn, 350 calories in a really tough workout. That afterburn might only give you an extra 20 to 50 calories. Look, it's real, and it's a nice little bonus, for sure. But it is absolutely not the game changer many people think it is. The real work, the big bar on that chart, happens during the workout itself.
Okay, so that leads us perfectly into our next myth, which kind of builds on what we just learned. This is the idea that weight loss is just a simple, straightforward math problem.
I mean, we've all heard this a million times, right? Just burn more calories than you eat, and the weight will fall off. It makes exercise feel like this transaction, where the only goal is to rack up the highest number you can on that treadmill screen. But our bodies, well, they're a little bit more complicated than that. Just take a look at your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. The huge majority of it, that giant slice of the pie, is your basal metabolic rate. That's just the calories you burned keeping the lights on, just staying alive. Then you've got your daily movement, or NEAT, which is everything from walking around to fidgeting at your desk. See that tiny little sliver left? That's your actual formal workout. Kind of surprising, right?
And this is so crucial. That old 3,500 calorie rule, the idea that a 3,500 calorie deficit equals 1 pound of fat, yeah, that's been totally debunked. Modern research shows it just doesn't work that way because our bodies are incredibly smart. When you create a huge calorie deficit, your metabolism adapts. It actually slows down to save energy. It's a survival mechanism, plain and simple.
So what's the smarter way? The science-backed approach is a much more moderate deficit, maybe 300 to 500 calories a day. And you get there by combining smart eating with your physical activity. This is just way more sustainable, and it helps you avoid that big metabolic crash.
All right, this brings us to our third and final myth, the big exercise showdown. You know the one. HIIT versus cardio, squats versus leg extensions. Is there really one king of calorie burning? So let's put HIIT and steady-state cardio head-to-head. You can see they both have their pros and cons. HIIT is amazing for being time efficient, but man, it is tough on the body and your nervous system. Steady state, on the other hand, is gentler, great for endurance, but it definitely takes up more time. So, is one better? Nope. They're just different tools for different jobs. And it is the exact same story in the weight room. Look at compound lifts like squats. Research shows they're fantastic for overall strength and for hitting certain parts of your quad. But if you really want to zero in on the front of your thigh, that rectus femoris muscle, an isolation exercise like a leg extension is actually more effective. Why? Because it takes all the other helping muscles out of the picture. See? Different goals. And you know what? The differences go way, way beyond just calories. Different types of exercise trigger completely unique hormonal responses. Lifting weights gives you that spike in things like testosterone and growth hormone. Cardio? It's amazing for improving your insulin sensitivity. And HIIT creates these really sharp, intense hormonal shifts that absolutely demand proper recovery. It's not just about energy out, it's about the signals you're sending your body. Okay. So, if the afterburn isn't the magic trick we thought it was, and the calorie equation is way more complex, and there's no single best exercise,
What does a truly smart and effective plan actually look like?
Well, the reality is this. Success doesn't come from chasing some magic bullet. It comes from building a sustainable system. A system that integrates all these different principles and, most importantly, one that works for your body. Something you can actually stick with.
And here's what that system looks like, broken down into 5 clear, science-backed steps. Step 1, figure out your baseline, your daily calorie needs. Step 2, create that small, sustainable deficit we talked about. 3, bring variety into your week. 4, and this is a big one, prioritize protein to protect your muscle. And finally, step 5, track your progress and be ready to tweak things as you go.
So what does that look like in a real week? Well, something like this. Maybe 2 or 3 resistance training sessions to keep your metabolism fired up. A couple of cardio sessions, mixing in some steady state and some intervals. A daily step goal, say 8 to 12,000 steps, to boost all that non-exercise activity. And this is non-negotiable. 1 or 2 active recovery or straight-up rest days. That's for your hormonal health, to prevent burnout. This is what a balanced approach that actually works looks like.
So let's end with this thought. What if we just asked a better question? What if we shifted our goal from how many calories can I burn today to how can I build a system for lifelong health? Thinking about it that way, well, that might just be the most powerful change you can make. Thanks so much for joining me.